You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the April 21st meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good afternoon. I'll call this Board of Public Works and Safety for Monday, I'll call this Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Monday, April 21st, 2025 to order. The time is 4 o'clock, and I'll start with a roll call. Mr. Simmons?
Present.
Ms. Tisdale?
Present.
Ms. Smith?
Present.
Ms. Moore?
Present.
Attorney LePage?
Here.
And Mr. York is here. We have one. Okay. I'll start with the first order of business today is approval of minutes from our regular hybrid meeting from April 7th, 2025. Are there any additions or redactions that you would like to have, or do I hear an approval?
Motion to approve. Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Okay, our first order of business is opening of bids. This is the opening of bids for the 2025-1 CCMG paving project. That's our community crossing matching grant project. We solicited for bids last time, and now here we are to open them. Ms. LePage, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so we've received 2 bids, but before I open them, you may want to open up the floor to see if there's any other
Of course.
vendors that would like to submit a bid. If not, then make a motion to formally close the bids.
Are there anyone in the audience right now that would like to submit a bid? If so, please bring it forward. If not, do I hear a motion to close the bids? Anyone here? Okay. Do I hear a motion I'll make a motion that we close the bids at this time.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Attorney LePage, it's yours.
So the first one is from Reith and Riley. I know there's 3 separate envelopes, but it's all the same project here. Just our EEO packet, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so the bid I've opened is from Reith and Riley Construction Co. Inc. And then the whole entire contract amount, the base bid amount for some of locations 1 through 36 would be $3,018,076.39. So again, $3,018,076.39. This is still part of the Reith and Riley. I just want to open it just to double check. Yes, it's just a copy, an additional copy. And then the second is from Milestone Contractors LLP. And again, there's 2 envelopes, 1 bidder. This was a copy of our EEO packet. Okay, in the contract total base bid amount, the sum of locations 1 through 36 is $3,468,035 and 54 cents. So again, it's $3,468,035.54. And that's it. So that's it. So I'd recommend that the same be referred to our engineers, Global for Review, and myself. I believe we're going to schedule a special Board of Works meeting for next week, Monday at 8:30 to hopefully award at that time.
Would you like us to make a formal motion?
Please.
I'll make the formal motion that we recommend these, or that we send these two bids to our city engineer, our engineer of record, Global, and Attorney LePage for further review for compliance with our bidding process. And yes, that's the motion right now. I'll do the 28th. I was going to do that one separate. Support. I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Antisto?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. I will also make a motion that we have a special meeting. We set up a special meeting to award this bid on April 28th. Amber, 8:30?
8:30 a.m.
8:30 a.m. Here in council chambers to award the formal awarding of the bids for the CCMG contract.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. We good? Okay. Okay. Our next order of business is road closure. The American Legion JFM Post 37 is requesting road closures for their annual Memorial Day Parade on May 26, 2025 from 9:30 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. They are requesting closures along the parade route as follows: starting at Ames Field on Patinia Parkway, then going north on Franklin Street to Decatur Street, then east on Decatur Street to Greenwood Cemetery. Is anyone here representing the post today? Post number 37. Captain Jesse, have you reviewed this? I'm always trying to get you up here. I'm sorry. I assume that you probably have.
Yeah.
Cool. Have you been in contact with them? You're good with this? It seems like something I think they do before.
Not been in contact with them. I just seen it on the agenda, but we've done it years past and it's the same route, so I see no issues with it.
Okay. You guys are prepared to help out with it, things of
Yeah.
that nature should you need. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any comments on this? Any comments from the board?
I would just like to note that this is less than our 90-day approval that we just got. But this is an annual event. Obviously the new form was just approved at the last meeting, so I do encourage approval of this. But I just wanted to make you guys aware.
No, I think we're going to have there's probably going to be maybe a couple of learning curves for that. Absolutely. And I do, and this is an annual. I remember seeing this before. Any other comments from the board? Any other comments? Any public comment on this item? Any public comment?
Yeah, Tommy Kolavic, 1316 Ohio Street. I just want to encourage everybody to come out for the Memorial Day Parade. Seems like every year the attendance for this event dwindles quite a bit. You know, personally, I always meet at Ames Field, and I get on my little motor scooter and I follow the fire engines to the Greenwood Cemetery for it. I think it's really cool in the end when the honor guard gives the 21 gun salute. It's always a really nice solemn ceremony they have for the veterans. So please come out and support this community. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Anything online? Anything online? Okay, I'll close public comments. Any other discussion, or do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right. Next order of business is a request for a stop sign. Colin Kahn of 716 York Street is requesting a stop sign or crossing button on the corner of Oak Street and Belden Street to allow children and pedestrians to cross safely. Colin, are you here today? Colin, give us your name and address. Obviously, I just read it, but please, for the record, give it to us again.
Hi, I am Colin Kane.
Okay,
but it's-
sorry.
That's fine. It's spelled that way. 716 York Street, here in Michigan City.
Tell us a little bit about what your request. Explain a little bit more about your request.
I kind of feel like I'm a little in over on my head with this because I know that this is a really complicated process, but just personally, the route that I drive home every night, I go through or past the intersection of Oak and Belden, where there is sort of like a crosswalk sign with like the, children crossing or whatever. But the people who live right on the intersection have two like massive black trucks. So basically,
This is.
it's like, you have to sort of more or less treat it like a stop sign, or you incur the risk of running over a child. And I fear that's just going to get worse with summer break coming up. So
The intersection that you're speaking about is beside Marsh, and it's the mid-block crossing. I know which one you're talking
Right.
about.
Oh,
Yes, it's a mid-block
right
crossing.
side. It's like during school hours is fine because
Yeah.
people are treating it appropriately and there's
Yes.
kids everywhere. But after typical school hours, it's sort of a free for all out there. And like I've had 5 kids run in front of me. And if I hadn't been treating it as a stop sign, more or less, those are 5 potential instances in which I would have run a child over because they're just busy being a kid and not worried about those things, So I don't know. I didn't know if there was anything that could be done, but after the 5th time, I kind of got a little concerned that clearly this is probably an issue other people are experiencing as well. So
Colin, are you not able to see the corner for the trucks? Is that you said there are 2 big black
correct.
trucks?
Well, I can't anyway. So like they're usually the people that live right on that corner, they have 2 massive black trucks. So literally as soon as you turn left off of, I believe, Barker, going in that direction, you can't see. It's like blind. So if you just keep going as you're allowed to legally, there is no stop sign. Like, there's very much a potential for running somebody over.
Sure.
So I don't know if, I know these things probably take ages and probably
No,
way in
you're
over
good.
my head, but
This is where it starts.
yeah, I just wanted to vocalize my concern about it. And I talked to the people that live there and they more or less humored me and obviously continued to park in their spot because there's nowhere else for them to park. So it's like not really their fault, but
Yeah, sure. Any questions of Colin from the board?
Are we requesting 2 stop signs on Oak Street, north and south? Because Belden tees into
Yes.
Oak Street, and there's a stop sign coming from
right.
the east.
Yeah, there's 2,
West.
there's a stop sign on either side. That's why I was kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, should I even bother doing this? Because there's already the 2 stop signs right there. But I don't know. I mean, if not a stop sign, like, I don't know how much they cost, but like one of those things where you can press the button and it lights up and something for kids to press or whatever. Cause
Yeah.
I don't know.
I saw that, I don't know.
Or there may be something with line of sight is what I'm getting. What it sounds like you're coming up and you're not able to actually see the corner. So people
Right.
are more or less darting, seems to be darting out because maybe they're parked too close to the intersection. You're not able to see it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it might be some parking issues or something like that.
I mean, like if those people more or less, again, I don't know, it's their right to park there. It's their property or they're renting, whatever. But if their trucks alone weren't there, that would probably eliminate most of the problem.
Captain, can I ask you a question? Have you looked at any of
Yeah.
this? Sorry, Mr. Simmons, I'll get back to you. If not, that's okay. I know that was just coming up. I was just curious.
No, I did, not during the hours after school
Yeah.
where, to see the black trucks, but during the school hours, I didn't see any issues.
Okay.
Calls for service since January 2020 in that area. We've had 9 for that intersection. 8 of those were traffic stops. And 1 was an animal complaint, so no
Okay.
accidents or other issues.
I'm still
And I
thinking,
can look into the after hours aspect of it, see if that's part of the issue.
I'm also thinking like the parking issue just might be a problem if they're parking too close to the intersection. I know we stripe back from intersections to keep people from parking, so that's the reason why, so you can actually see the intersection. That might be a problem. Just throwing that out. I haven't looked at it, whether or not it's painted or not. I haven't done that. So
I don't think it is.
I don't remember. I don't know if there's a sidewalk there. They parked on the sidewalk. I don't know. I mean, maybe we could refer it to you and the engineer to look at.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions of the board of why we got these two up here? Any questions? Okay, I'll open up for public comments. Yeah. Any public comments? Any public comments on the item?
Hello, board. It's good to see all of you. Scott Melland, 200 Kenwood Place. Hope you had a nice weekend. Spring's finally sprung. I think we all appreciate where the neighbor's coming from. I don't know what the rules are to parking as far as how far away from intersections you should be.
Yeah.
Clearly, this intersection has been a one-way stop for all its history. As far as memory serves, it should remain the way it is, in my opinion. Though we can look at what's blocking the driver's view. I think this is one of those things that falls under an enforcement issue as opposed to a traffic safety. Although I think we all very much appreciate the sentiment that the neighbor brought here. But I think we can find a better solution than more stop signs. Thank you.
Yeah, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. Just let the police go out there, do their traffic study, and let him come back and make his recommendations, and you can all go from there. Thank you.
So Wendy Vacher, Board of Works Director. I appreciate this keeps coming up. I know that maybe not this particular intersection, but we've talked a lot in the city about parking and folks parking on sidewalks. And I know that we're working on it. So I think as we go forward, maybe it would just always be best to have Tim take a look at it and we can come up with some continuity, have the police look at it, and then we can just make sure we document it. So the next time, should things get worse, we can refer it back because it is kind of a referring theme and we're trying to create a process so we can keep a little bit better track of it. So that might just be a thought, Skylar.
No.
Just a recommendation.
Absolutely. Any other comments? Anything online? Okay, I'll close public comments. Any more comments from the board or do I hear a recommendation? I think we should send it to, I would send it to the recommended that we have our city engineer and maybe our traffic division look at line of sight, how the parking is being handled here. Are they parking on the sidewalk? Are they too close to the intersection? Is there curb there to be painted? I don't even know if there's curbing there. So that's something we should look at, and we should have our city engineer assess that.
I would concur.
Absolutely. Do I hear a motion to that effect, Mr. Simmons?
Motion that we refer this to the city engineer to go out and do a site visit and come back with a recommendation.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. And thanks for bringing it to the board. This is how it begins. You wanted to know how it begins. This is how it begins. So, yeah. Okay, our next order of business is a request for signage. Walter Johns of 102 Garrettson Street. 102 Garrettson Ave is requesting 2 no littering signs on Franklin Street going north right before the intersection of Cool Spring Ave and Barker Ave. Mr. Johns, are you here? Yeah.
My name is Walter Johns. I live at 102 Garrettson Ave, Michigan City, Indiana. Been here for 31 years and I'm a part of this community. And by the way, happy Easter to y'all one day after, in God's name. And the only thing I'm requesting is, like it's printed on the piece of paper that's in front of you, there's 2 signs north, 2 signs south. And you can reveal the wording, keep our city beautiful, don't litter. You know, because we already have an ordinance on anybody that litter, and if police officer sees it, we'll give them tickets for littering, okay? Is there any way that you guys want to, you know, have the reading on there? Because I think it would help, because on my last meeting, I went to 4 people to my right, neighbors, and 4 people to my left. And I didn't express myself to say that I'm having an issue with paper, garbage, all kinds of ugliness in my front lawn. I just started my conversation, said, do you have any little problems with your paper or anything like that? And a lot of them came out speaking and saying, oh man, do we have papers. Okay, and there was a gentleman that really expressed himself by speaking loudly of the things that he picks up. Okay. And we have a special little tool that we pick up the garbage. We don't touch it with, there's that. And I think that just by putting the signs up, we'll see what kind of, we'll take a survey on it, see if it helps. You know, we always can try. If you don't try, you don't succeed. That's all I'm asking. No more, no less.
Any questions of Mr. Johns? Businesses, no.
I would say just for the record, sorry, Gene. Can you state how many letters from your neighbors you had come forward? Because
I
we
give
got
them-
it all, but
I,
public did not.
we
see
did,
that.
we did pass them out to
To
every
us.
person.
Yes.
And also Gail has copies of them too.
But how many were there? So everybody knows there were 5, maybe
I say maybe 5,
4,
4.
4. So he did come with 4 letters from neighbors.
And 1 was pending. Okay, so that's all I'm asking for, and no more, no less, and go from there.
Well, I personally is opposed to more signs on Franklin Street. I went out and drove the corridor, as I always do. I mean, there's trash cans, receptacles, starting at 4th Street, going all the way down to Harrison. Now, you're referring to the residential area.
Yeah,
Am I right?
residential area, I guess they feel comfortable by throwing papers out the window because it's gonna hit our lawn, it's not gonna
Yeah.
go on the street. I'm not talking commercial area,
Yeah.
okay? You know, from where it starts, I think from Barker all the way up to Cool Springs, you know, and they go from there. And I did do my homework. I drove around Cool Springs and other streets too, okay? And it's papers on there, but not like we get it. It's not like we receive it because they go by fast. They're in a hurry coming to the Blue Chip or go to the Lighthouse Place or whatever they're hurried to, and they feel like throwing garbage out. You know, a diaper, okay, they throw a diaper, but when it comes to stuff that I can't even repeat to you, do you use all respect? That's a little disrespect towards us.
I believe sincerely that we need to do something in Michigan City as a city whole. I don't know that I can agree that a couple signs are going to affect anything. It has to be a citywide issue. And I think that there are some things already in process potentially for discussion that could help alleviate some things moving forward. I don't think the signs are going to do it right now for you. I wish they would, but I don't think it's going to. And I think that if we could just be a little patient, maybe we can have some other recommendations that the city becomes involved as a big issue.
But I've been at this for a long time about this issue, okay?
And I heard you.
And I know, I have a neighbor that's named Al Shapiro, and he was a veteran of Vietnam. Okay, and he's no longer able to cut his grass. He gets people cutting his grass. And the people that does it for him, they pick up all kinds of paper, all kinds of garbage. Okay, it's just not me. It's tiresome. And it's aggravating. I enjoy cutting my grass, doing my landscaping. Okay, and I think a lot of people do. But when that comes into order, it's not right.
And it is an issue for us to start to address in some way. So
I would appreciate it, whatever y'all need to do, talk it over for the best interest of our township and everything. We're not insulting our town by putting signs up. I love this town. There's a lot of beautiful areas of it. Washington Park is one of them, okay? And you know what I'm speaking about, all right? But the thing is, to see garbage thrown out like that in bags and it's disrespect to us. And, we own those properties. That's all we're asking for. I thank y'all.
Oh, no, you good? Okay. No, okay. Any other comments from the board? Okay. I'll open it for public comment.
Yes, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. This is just an economic factor that we take in consideration when we establish our residency along a major busy thoroughfare. Mr. Johns, he practically lives right across the street from King Richard's liquor store. This is a problem with this all over the city. The worst place is over in Eastport. It's so bad my sister-in-law Jill, she lives out right on Edward Street, right off the boulevard. She put a doormat on her porch. It says, "Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one trying to gentrify this neighborhood." My solution to this is one thing we need. I've mentioned this before. Bring back the driver's education of the schools. That's one of the things they teach you in driver's education, not to litter out your vehicles. The other thing, quite often I like to go visit in Chicago. For the last 8 years now, what they've done is they impose a bag fee. They charge you 7 cents for every plastic bag you take out of the store. I feel we ought to impose a city bag fee. We need to up the ante to a dime. If you really want to clean up the main drag, why don't we put it in order to demolish some of these vacant structures like the old Winsky Mansion at Franklin Earl Road? I mean, talk about your Greek tragedies. I mean, that's all. You've already denied this 5-0 once, and you need to deny 5-0 twice. And you need to set a policy of your board. It's like the LaPorte County Board of Zoning Appeals. Doug Beachy tells them, if it's been denied once, you got to wait a year before you bring it back. Thank you. So don't come by ad nauseum. Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Scott Mellon, 200 Kennedy Place. I second what Tommy has to say. I think he had actually some really good points in there. That said, I appreciate very much what Mr. John is going through. Unfortunately, he does live on a busy thoroughfare right across from not just King Richard's Liquors, but McDonald's, with large commercial spaces across from. The wind can carry things from who knows how far. There's a pretty big open area there. So we all appreciate the problem, and I think we all thank him for being a good neighbor and doing his absolute best to keep the area as clean as he does. I also appreciate that he's reduced his ask from signs from most of the way up from down Franklin. I don't remember, from 4th Street until Cool Spring or Pride to 20, I believe it was, from 20 to 4th. So I very much appreciate how he's made a far more reasonable request. But I agree with pretty much the sentiment here that signs aren't going to fix the problem.
No.
But I wonder if this could open up a conversation for something larger. Perhaps, as some cities do, they have nice entry gateway things that have a bunch of things. Rotary Club, Keep Our City Clean, Tree City USA. Maybe we could think about signage of this type at the gateways to our town instead of just more sign pollution in town. Just a thought. Think it a little bigger. It could be pretty. It could be nice. It could have flowers and stuff. But litter is a societal problem, and signs that we put up aren't going to fix it. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Anything online? Okay, I'll close public comments. Any other comments from the board, or do you want to entertain them?
I mean, I would like to add that, we're all concerned about keeping the city beautiful. That's all of our concerns. But it's an attitudinal problem. You know, we collectively as a city need to address those type of attitudes. Just driving down the streets, throwing paper. I mean, I can name about 20 spots in this city that, yeah, having the same issue, but we collectively have to work on changing attitudes.
Any other comments from the board? Any motions from the board? I agree. I don't think signage is going to change the perspective. I clean up a lot of litter in front of my house. I live next to a school, so I get a lot of candy wrappers and things like that. Yeah. And just a reminder, it is illegal to throw things out of your car, Captain, right? Yeah. Please don't do that. Please don't litter in our city. But I do agree. I think it is it's a societal problem, and it's evident here. So, no, not at this time. Yeah, no. Any comments?
Motion to deny.
Second.
A call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. I guess I would just state that, hey, don't throw things out of your car, please. Captain, come get you. So, all right. Our next order of business is a request for a road closure for construction. Zolkowski Construction is requesting to close Ann Street from Washington Street to Franklin Street and close street parking on Washington Street in front of St. Stanislaus Church for church restoration for the following dates: Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., May 5th through the 20th, 2025, August 4th through the 25th, 2025, and December 15th through the 26th, 2025. Is there anyone here representing please come on up. Tell us your name and introduce yourself and tell us a little.
I'm
yeah.
Camille Higdon. I'm with St. Stanislaus Church, 1506 Washington Street. What do you want to know?
Tell us a little bit about the restoration project, what you're doing. Are you going to be using all these dates, or are these kind of like contingency dates? Should it rain, should things like that, or is it all going to be closed this time?
So we're working on the two bell towers, tuck pointing from top to bottom, replacing all the columns up there. Right now, the May 5th date, as long as we get approval from our diocese, which should maybe come this week. The May 5th date would be a time period when they're going to put up scaffolding for the towers top to bottom. And then the August dates are tentative dates, because they're manufacturing those columns.
Okay.
And it'll just depend on when the columns are done and ready to be installed.
Okay.
And then I think there'll probably be a date like at the very end in December, a couple of dates, so because they have to remove the scaffolding.
Okay.
So,
Any questions of this project? We appreciate you coming to us and asking for the closures. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Do they have all their insurance in? Everything good?
They do, but we'll just need an updated certificate of insurance after June 1st of 2025.
Got it. Because
Yeah.
we're asking for dates that go out past that.
Correct.
Okay.
mhm.
When I say they, I mean the construction.
Construction company. So we should probably make note in our approval
Correct.
that after
Subject to-
June.
The certificate of insurance expires on June 1st, 2025. So we'll need an updated one after that date.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment on this item?
Wendy Vache, Public Works Director. I just wanted to add a little bit to what Camille said to explain. I asked her to come to the board. We sat down and chatted. Isabel was there as well about their project. They have a 3-year, multi-year project. It's being done in phases. Those phases are being approved at different stages because they need to go back to their diocese to be able to get approval for their work plan, get their schedule, their contracts done. And so it was a way of making sure that all of you were aware that it would be coming back so that it didn't seem like a new thing every time the schedule would change. We're also working with them in the building department, trying to make sure that they get their permitting as they go along. And it seemed like it would just be easier this way. And if something should change, they could simply come back and say, we've had a change, and make sure that everyone knows it's part of a larger project. So part of that was at my request. So I just wanted to explain that, and hopefully it will make it more helpful and useful in the future as they go about this long-term project.
Excellent. Any other questions? Oh, any other public comments?
Yeah, hey, Scott Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place. I may have misunderstood, but we're all very supportive, of course, and very happy with what's happening there. But if I heard correctly, they asked for 3 specific dates, one relatively soon, one in August, and one in December. If anybody has any experience here with construction projects, picking dates 6 months ahead of time is very unlikely to be those dates. So I would just allow for an update as to alternate dates when they get closer to those milestones. I would find it very hard to believe that the contractor will be able to hit August 6th and December 19th. And instead of making them have to just make it, I think you understand my concern. I don't know how to phrase it, but give them some flexibility to those dates.
So let me read these again. So we're talking May 5th through the 25th. We have like you're looking at 20, almost 20 days in between. So you're also looking at August 4th through the 25th. So these are approximates. So you got a good, the last one is December 15th through the 26th. So there's already a lot of flexibility in those dates. I mean, if just something fall out on the 26th of August, I guess, yeah, I don't know that, but yeah, I think you've got a lot of flexibility in those dates. So surely they'll be able to hit some of those dates. And to be just also to state too, this will be from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. during those time frames. Yeah, not all day. So very clear.
I would
Any other
also
public-
like to note that it's Monday through Friday and not on the weekends.
Yes. Good point. Is there any other public comments? Any other public comments? Anything online? Okay. Close public comments. Any other further board comments or questions about this project? If not, I'll make a motion. This is a really fantastic landmark in our city. So thank you for fixing it. Stands at the height of the elevation, and it's just everyone sees it. So we appreciate you investing in it. I motion that we approve Zolkowski Construction for the following dates: May 5th through the 20th. 2025, August 4th through the 25th of 2025, December 15th through the 26th of 2025, from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. for street closures, with a condition that they come back by June 1st for an updated COI that we haven't
It
updated.
expires June 1st. 2025.
Yeah, that they just provide the clerk's office with an updated.
Certificate of
Yeah,
insurance.
they don't need to come back to the.
Before June 1st, before it expires.
Yeah, just provide the clerk's office with a updated copy.
Was that a clear motion, or do you want me to read it again? Okay, cool.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Our next order of business is a request for solicitor vendor license. Fox Pest Control is requesting a solicitor vendor license for 1 year to sell subscriptions to their pest management services. Is Fox here right now? Please come up and tell us a little bit about what you're doing. Name and address.
Hi there, this is the first Board of Works meeting I've ever been to in my life, so this is cool. My name is Ethan Snizik, 2909 Sugar Maple Lane, South Bend, Indiana. We are requesting the ability for 5 individuals to do some door-to-door work in the city for a limited period of time. I know it says it's a year-long period, but we just do seasonal work, so we're only here May through August, and we have permits in 11 different cities and towns. And Michigan City is not a huge portion of the service region that we're doing work in. So I wouldn't imagine we'd be here for longer than 7 to 10 days, really, with those 5 people that would get permits. We don't like to disrupt, for a really long time. We just like to be there for a second and provide services and help out the community with rodent and carpenter ant and stink bug and wasp issues and things of that nature. So this is year 5 for me that I've been working with Fox and been affiliated with them. A great company. They do a lot to help young individuals learn leadership and communication skills along with sales skills. And this year I am a partner owner of this branch that's in South Bend. So it's a new branch of the 38 some odd locations in the US of Fox Pest Control. But we've gotten our certificate of insurance and everything squared away for the city. I think you'll notice that, and I think we've submitted it and everything. So is there any information or questions that you guys would have regarding what kind of work we do and what we offer, or any concerns that I could help to address?
Any questions from the board?
Yes. I'm a little confused by some of the things you've said. But
Oh,
number
sure.
1, on your application, you say you don't give any materials, you just go door to door. And you're saying it's like for a short period of time, 5 days, 7 days?
5 to 7 days, yeah.
What is your process in that period of time? I'm not sure I understand how
Oh,
you talk with somebody and you knock on their door and say, hey, do you have a pest problem?
oh,
Or-
good question. Yes. So we it's a subscription-based service. So we do pest management services. So they're typically about year-long, sometimes longer contracts for pest services. So we don't we don't have any physical stuff that we're selling door to door. We set people up on a subscription, and our technicians service those accounts and help them for a year-long period or more.
So if you're only there for X amount of days that you said, I mean,
Yeah.
do people sign up immediately or do they come back to you, or how does that
That's a good
work?
question. Occasionally people will sign up immediately. We also obviously they'll have our information and stuff. We walk around and we have our trucks and stuff, and a website. So we refer people to our website while we're in the neighborhood.
Yeah, because I didn't see where you have any printed materials. My biggest concern is that I've done some research on your company, and I find enormous amount of complaints about this subscription service, and specifically when it comes to people wanting to cancel because they find they may not need anything or their issues aren't being dealt with properly. And it seems like across the board, and I've got from the Better Business Bureau, from Consumer Affairs, I've got, if anybody would like to see these, that people are always surprised by wanting to cancel, and there's a $250 fee that applies for cancellation, which they don't know about, or in these documents. And I personally don't kind of understand the business model as you're presenting it, and I'm sorry, but I don't understand how this would benefit our city right now.
Sure. So yeah, we explicitly, because we train all of our guys to tell them that it's at least a year-long contract. So they sign up for a contract and there is a fee to cancel. But we tell them like in 3 or 4 different ways that it's at least a contract because we sell subscription services. So
If I could see a copy of the contract, that would be great. Maybe it would put my mind at ease, but right now I don't have a peace of mind regarding this process. I see that with the Better Business Bureau, there's been like 341 complaints just from the Better Business Bureau. And those are people that actually took the time to do these complaints, not people that don't know how to report. And that concerns me greatly.
yeah.
On the application, it says specific dates of sale and hours of sale, and those were left blank. Do you have the exact dates and the exact hours?
So because we are working in different towns, we typically will like move from a town when we're finished up and we move to another. And so it's kind of hard to nail down exactly the dates, but it would, like I said, roughly be 7 to 10 days, in like the end of May or beginning of June, the way that we have our area plan mapped out right now. So yeah, it'd just be that short period of time.
And what would the hours be?
Yeah, we typically will work, I mean, it's usually about noon to the end of the day. We find that we don't really run into people that are like home sometimes until after 5. So those are some of the busiest hours when people are like home from work.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Any other questions from the board? All right, I'm going to open up for public comment. Public comment? Any public comments? Any public comments?
Scott Mellon, County Place. That was great research. I really think that was instructive for all of us. A service contract isn't a crazy idea, though, especially if you have a pest problem. You actually do need monthly service. That's not crazy. But we have heard about, you often hear about it with health clubs. It's really hard to get out of their contract, apparently. I've never experienced it. You can tell I've never been to a health club. But I've read, and I read a lot. So I think those are good concerns. The one thing I would point out, so a subscription model isn't crazy. I'm generally capitalist, pro business. But the Better Business Bureau complaints, were those for the South Bend office only or for this Fox company in general? And I have a feeling it's for the whole company. That would be my suspicion. So it could give a bad, mislead us as to the South Bend office's business practices. That's all I'll say. But does Michigan City need another pest control? Are we lacking in pest control here? Do we want to bring in a company that might cause grief to our residents? Fair questions. I don't know the answers. I'm just asking questions. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Anything online? All right, I'll close public comments. Any other thoughts from the board?
I personally am along the same lines with Peggy. Unfortunately, with a business that has a long line of complaints, not saying that the South Bend company is going to follow in these same lines, but we're not preventing them from doing business in Michigan City. They can still do business in Michigan City. They can advertise on social media, flyers, mailers, etc. Our decision is should we allow them to go door to door and possibly, I know when people come to my door, I feel pressured to give them a decision right then and there, and put our residents in that situation. So again, we're not saying they can't do business here. We're not preventing them from doing business here. It's just whether we should allow the solicitation.
And that's my concern as well, that when I see this door to door and my antennas goes up because You know, we don't need more precious salesmen going door to door with our residents. And we do it, I think we're sufficiently supplied with enough local pest control people. Yeah. I'm just not in favor of door to door.
I think I would also keep in mind that we, I think what Mr. Tisdale is very important. Like, we're not preventing someone from doing business here. It's the door to door things. And I know we've had a lot of discussion about door to door things at this Board of Works, to the point where we've even taken an ordinance forward to council. So we take it very seriously, and I appreciate all your comments. And I think Mr. Simmons had some good comments too about being pressured and things like that. So any other comments from the board? Any other thoughts, comments? Do I hear a motion? Anyone like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to deny the request for the door-to-door solicitations.
Do I hear a second?
Support.
Support.
I will call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Our next order of business is a contract between the City of Michigan City and Schneider Geospatial. I can't even speak right now. Schneider Geospatial LLC to host an ArcGIS server-based web feature service for the city, containing GIS spatial data layers from LaPorte County, Indiana's existing GIS resources, starting May 1st, 2025 until December 31st, 2026, for a total amount of $9,104.00. Andy Mechanic is with us today. He's the director of IT, and thank you for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're doing? I can fill in some blanks too.
All right, good afternoon, Andrew Mechanic, Technology and Facilities. I know a lot of you are probably familiar with the site that LaPorte County hosts, which is known as Beacon. Beacon is the website that a lot of people use to find out information about parcel data, property features, lines, ownership, whatnot. Right now, how we get that data is actually directly from LaPorte County, and it's manual. So that's meaning that we have to go to LaPorte County, we have to ask them for that data, and then we have to spend a couple of days taking that data and then trying to import it into our system. So it's very labor intensive. It's a lot of time wasted. It's a delay. And so what we have done is we've reached out to the company Schneider Corporation, which owns Beacon. And so instead of us having to reach out to LaPorte County and have these manual grabbing of this data and import it into our system, we can actually go right to the Beacon website and grab that data and then bring that right into our GIS system. And just for everybody's information, GIS system, that is our mapping system for the city. And so that contains all the parcel information. So when somebody buys a new parcel or ownership changes, that information is then updated in our systems as well. So we're not having to go back to Beacon and look up something because it might not be accurate in our data because it hasn't been updated yet. So this is going to be something where it's going to update as when the county updates their data to Beacon, then our systems will automatically receive that update as well from Beacon to our mapping system. Now, our mapping system then will send this data to our work order system, to our cloud permitting system as well, and along with to our GIS department. And so all this will be a one-stop shop, and it'll just be a very automated, very quick system, so we can make sure that we have the most up-to-date data available to us throughout all of our different resources throughout the city.
Thank you for that explanation. Just to further take it, we're running into some issues. We've launched our cloud permit and we're issuing, say, citations or new building permits, and the parcel has been sold and we don't have the new owner's information in that parcel because we haven't gotten downloaded up-to-date data. That's a problem. So this will fix that problem. And we're hoping that our system can communicate with their system. There's a lot. the first step, if you will, to getting
Yeah,
us.
we know it's going to communicate with it because what we're going to do is we're going to connect right with from Snyder to the ARC GIS Online web service, which has been proven and it's common
Yes.
task that Snyder does. So it's
It's
they're-
going to
they're-
connect.
Yeah, they're not concerned at all that it's
Yeah.
going to have any problems with
And,
that.
and also we want to be able to use this data in a very dynamic way, and having the best up-to-date data is very important. With Cloud Permit and our new permitting systems, we can do heat maps and see where development's happening. We can let that data kind of drive some of the decisions, so we can give information to council and things like that. This data helps us drive kind of where the city goes and how it develops and make decisions that are based on data. So it's very important that we have up-to-date data. You can see why. Thank you for working on with them and doing this for us.
You're welcome. And I was also going to mention that with Snyder Corporation, in order to get us started right away, because this is like you mentioned, Skylar, a major thing that we need to get done for Cloud Permit immediately. We're looking at a start date of May 1st, 2025 for this. And Snyder Corporation bills on an annual basis. And so for the first year would be $3,536. And that is for a prorated from May 1st until December 31st of this year. And then this would be basically like a 1.5 year agreement, so to speak, because it would conclude then on December 31st of 26. And so for next year, from January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2026, it would be $5,568. And from this service right here, this is basically just a transportation service, moving it from the Beacon site to our own resources. And so any type of data or whatever, that's going to be transferred immediately to our own locations, and it's housed on our own locations. It's nothing, it's just a means of getting the data from point A, meaning the county's Beacon site, to point B, meaning the city's site. And so we don't have to really be any concerned about, if we cancel the subscription, are we going to lose data or anything like that? It's not going to be that case at all. This is just a middleman, so to speak, to move it from one place to another. So
That's excellent. Any questions of Andy? Any questions of Mr. Metanek? You've done a great job of explaining it. And Ms. Tisdale.
You guys are seriously hand entering all that data. That is insane.
Well, it also would never, I don't think we even got, there was very few successful uploads, right? With that, because it was
it is very challenging. I mean, especially with our
Time consuming.
Yeah, it was very time consuming. We used to have, it's been easier since we moved. It's been considerably easier since we went to Cloud Permit and got rid of our old community development program. We used to spend an average of 3 to 4 work days every month with the old system trying to make parcel ID numbers match up. With the Cloud Permit, that has reduced that significantly, but it's still time consuming, and we're still lacking some of the data, and we're not matching exactly what's on Beacon. So this is just going to be huge benefit for everyone that's using these applications.
I tend to agree with that.
Yeah, this is a really big deal. It seems so, but it's a big deal. So it really is. I know our code enforcers and our permitting specialists are very excited about this. So, any other comments? If not, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comments?
Me neither.
Hi, Scott Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place. That was a great explanation. Obviously, this is long needed. There's no question about that. Andy clarified at the end, the $9,000, the roughly $9,000 is spread over actually the rest of a 2-year permit. But I suspected this was an annual subscription, which he also brushed on. So just be it, it's software as a service. It's just the way things are nowadays. If we want access to the data and we want it to go into our systems, we've got to pay the VIG to, what's the company? Snyder Corp. They get that one. But let's remember, it will be approximately, $5,558 at renewal time, probably 10% more. So I don't know if that goes into their annual budget and it doesn't become a request anymore, but this would be an ongoing expense for the city, but it's clearly well needed.
Yeah.
And thank you for your work setting it up. Thank you.
So I actually came tonight because I wanted to support this and explain it even further. We were talking a little bit earlier about things like fines and garbage and tracking sewer bills and delayed sewer bills and liens. All of this system ties everything that we have together. You will see, and these guys have done a great job, and I came to be supportive. By doing this, we are going to see cost recovery. We are going to see more timely notification of delay of payments. We are going to be able to notify landowners, get better information out, whether it's for whatever we're doing. So it's going to pay for itself and then some. So thank you for your support. I know working with Tamiko and Amber and Skylar, we talk about this stuff all the time. This is how we do it. And I'm really grateful to Andy and those folks for getting it done. So we'll come back and we'll tell you how well it worked, and we'll show you what we can do with it. And I know that Tony likes to make maps, so we'll make some for you. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Anything online? Okay, I'll close public comments. Andy, thank you for just really bird dogging this one and staying on it, man. I really appreciate it. We all do. Any further questions? Or I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Thank you. All right, our next order of business is a contract. The Michigan City Special Events Department is requesting the approval of a silver sponsorship, $5,000 from Comcast, Greater Chicago region for their 2025 event season. Good afternoon, Mr. Williams.
Good afternoon, board. Eric Williams, Michigan City Special Events. As you said, this is a $5,000 silver sponsorship from Comcast of the Greater Chicago region. They are a multi-year return sponsor with us. We're excited to have them back for 2025. With this, that will take us to $84,000 on the year, up from $70,000 from last year. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
What's your goal?
100,000. Great.
There's still some room for other people to donate. So. Questions for Mr. Williams?
I have a question, not to do with this. How long did the Easter egg hunt last?
About 4 minutes, about what I said.
He called it.
We started at 12:04 and we were done at about 12:08. So
Okay. It's
You
more
called
important. What is I just want to hear about that. You know, it's like-
No, this is amazing, but this is the kind of stuff that allows that to happen. I saw the Easter egg hunt all over social media, and thank you to our sponsors like Comcast for allowing this to happen for our city.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on more money coming in.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to us. Any questions for Mr. Williams? Any questions? All right, I'll close it, open up for public comment. Any public comments? Any public comments on this item? It'll cost you $5,000 to make a public plan. No, just what, any public comments? Any public comments? Good. Okay, I'll close public comments. As always, y'all just doing such a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion from the board?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our next order of business is contract negotiations. International Union of Operators Local 150 is requesting to start negotiations regarding the purpose of wages. Do we just need a vote to open negotiations?
No, this
just
is
a notice,
just
just a notice. Okay,
FYI
that's what I
that it's
thought.
happened. I did reach out to their attorney. I've worked with her for several years, and just kind of told her that based on the current legislative session downstate, that we're going to hold off until we kind of see the impact of what it's going to be financially on Michigan City. So she understood. We'll touch base, but just to let the board know, I did make a contact with them.
Okay. Just a few more to go. The next order of business is a claims docket for April 21st, 2025. Has everyone had time to review that? And if so, do I hear a vote or hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Smith. Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Amber, can you look at your agenda real quick? Are we not? No, right?
We're not doing the awarding.
Okay, that's making
No,
sure.
no,
Okay,
no.
okay.
No, for purposes of CCMG, that's why we did the special meeting.
Okay.
To be honest with you, there's too much at stake here
Okay.
and I did not want any errors to occur and I wanted, time for our engineers and the right of personnel to review it and calculate and do all the math.
Okay.
That's a good call.
I will, and just for the record, we are meeting at 8:30 on the 28th of April. And we took a vote tonight to set that date for the awarding. Our next order of business is public comment. I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment?
Yes, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. I'm talking about something that came up on social media. County Road 400 North. The LaPorte County Highway Department now has the jurisdiction over the entire length of County Road 400 North, all the way through, whether it be Kiefer Road or whatever. Everybody, when we talk about the city limits, if you drive the 400 North Quarter, the city limits don't pick up until you're west of the Cleveland Avenue extension. It doesn't end until you're just west of the old Sioux factory. And all that area south in there, that's encompassed in an area called the US 421 I-94 County TIF District. In 2023, Mayor Perry and the County Commission made an agreement that the highway has the entire jurisdiction over 400 North. The city has the entire jurisdiction over Paz Road. So when Paz Road was reconstructed, all the way from the Cleveland accident to Johnson Road. So I just want to clarify all that. Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Full aboard for the fifth time tonight, Scott Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place. In this, is it CMCG? In
CCMG.
CCMG, need another C there. CCMG grants, Reith Riley was $350,000 less than the second bid. And I know we're going to review it and all that, but what I would point out is Reith Riley, I think during that analysis and subsequent communication with possibly Reith Riley, that we have a lot of failed striping from last year's projects that they were the contractor for. And as a city, I would hope before we awarded low bidder, even if it's the exact thing, that we would hold them to account for that failed striping. That's also been on social media. It just looks terrible. We paid for it. It failed. And I know there is movement in the city with the engineer and stuff, but given that they have another $3 million contract in front of us, I think we should hold their feet to the fire on that. I would like to see some nice, pretty yellow lines throughout the city, and I know I am not the only person. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Anything online? Nope. Okay, I'll close public comment. Any board comments? Any board comments? Gene,
Motion to adjourn.
for your second?
Second.
All right.